Air filters. Everyone has an air filter if you have an air conditioning system or a heater system or furnace and ductwork and things of that nature. And, we go to Home Depot or Lowe's or one of those places and we just pick up the filter that we can afford and the one that's got that higher number on it. Today, we're going to talk about what those numbers mean. And we're going to talk about, is getting the absolute highest efficiency filter going to be the best thing for you? And what are the things we need to consider when doing that? I'm Tom at ProCalcs University, and we are the ProCalcs HVAC design company that's decided to step in and help educate people on the things that we come across every day. We do hundreds of HVAC designs every month. We work with some of the biggest builders in the United States, and we've learned a lot. And filters has come into play really big for us lately with the increase in filter efficiency. Could be, but you could end up causing yourself problems by not having the right filter, not the size, the right filter based on the design of your system. And that might sound crazy, but hopefully after this, you're going to have a better understanding. When we start talking about filters, the first thing we want to understand is what are we filtering out? We're filtering out particles. And these particles are measured in what's called a micron. A micron is a micrometer, which is 1,000th of a millimeter. Obviously, we want to try to get the smallest particles, the smallest microns, filtered out of the air. When manufacturers build their units, a lot of them put filters in, and they're what we call baseball filters. It's kind of a joke in the industry that's about all that filter catches. It catches a baseball. Anything else outside that just goes right on through the filter. It's those cheap 50-cent throwaway blue filters that you see. Oh, those are baseball filters. But what we're trying to do is we want to be able to capture as small micron particles as possible. Now, obviously, if we had a brick wall, well, we'd catch them all, but no air would go through. And that's kind of the part that we're talking about here, is we can put that brick wall, but we still got to allow the air to pass through. And the problem with some of the filters is based on how your system is designed. So what the rating has been, and some manufacturers have kind of played around with this and gone off on a different direction, is MERV. So MERV rating is minimum efficiency reporting values. And what that is it's determining at a specific rating, it starts at 1 and goes all the way to a 20. Is that MERV rating at that MERV number, MERV 1, MERV 2, MERV 3, MERV 4, it is going to have a percentage of how well it's going to filter out those different micron particles. For instance, if we look at a typical MERV chart, at MERV 1 through 4, we pull out less than 20%, all the way up to 3 to 10 microns. So that's pretty big. 10 microns is pretty big when it comes to air filtration, but we're picking up less than 20% of those particles out of MERV 4. Now, when you go to MERV 5, 6, 7, it starts to increase. So at the 0.3 to 0.1, you're still going to be a little less than 20%. But as you get up into the bigger particles, you're going to start to make a difference. Now, as you may understand, is as we start restricting the particles, that means that the filter is getting tighter. It's getting closer knit to where it's able to capture these particles. Some of the filters that you'll see in a lot of the stores is you may see like a MERV 8 on up, MERV 8, a MERV 11, 12, 13. But when you start getting into these, what happens is we now start restricting the air too much. We start restricting the airflow more, creating what's called a pressure drop across that filter. Now, MERV 11 is a good midline filter for people, and here's kind of the numbers on this. We do, at MERV 11, we do 85% or better of filtering out those 3 to 10 microns. At 1 to 3 microns, we filter out about 65 to 79%. So we're still letting some stuff through, but we're doing a better job. Now, 0.3 to 1 micron, we're still doing less than 20%. We don't really start getting into filtering out these really small micron particles until we get to MERV 14, 15, 16. But now we start getting closer to that brick wall, and we have to understand, if I'm restricting the air to capture more particles, what do I have to do to still maintain the same amount of air going across? If I restrict it, I have a motor pulling air through that return. Think about somebody with a rope, and you can see these, they have these little contests on TV where they have the little barrels or something like that, and somebody's pulling it, and they keep adding a brick to it, adding a brick to it, adding a brick to it, adding a brick to it. Eventually, at first we start off and we're just pulling this thing like it's crazy, but as they start adding these bricks, and when we start getting tighter on the filter, it becomes harder and harder and harder to pull it. So by having a more restrictive filter, we're putting a greater load on the AC system or even the heater system, the motor that pulls that air through, as well as the ductwork, because the ductwork is designed to be able to handle so much air coming through it. And if we do not have enough play in the entire system and we restrict the air system so much, we create the brick wall ourselves.
That's it for part 1, folks. But here's a question for you. How do you know if your system can even handle that fancy filter you just bought? That's exactly what we're covering in part 2. Subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll see you there.